What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another video. In this video, what we're going to be talking about is everything that you need to know about ICP Crypto, especially if you're a beginner inside the crypto space. Now, I previously made a video on ICP. That video is sitting around 10,000 views. In this video, this one's going to be a lot more in-depth, breaking down what exactly ICP is, how it works, explaining canisters, DFINITY, things that you really want to understand before making any type of investments into this coin. So if you plan on investing into ICP, if you're a holder of ICP, I highly recommend to watch this video for its entirety. Also, if you're new to the channel, click the link in the description, join the free Discord. In the free Discord, I send alerts for long-term investments on coins that you should be investing into. So if you want to get those free call outs, join the server, link in the description. So what exactly is ICP? Internet Computer is a utility token that allows users to participate in and govern Internet Computer Blockchain's network. The network's goal is to help developers create websites, enterprise IT systems, internet services, and DeFi applications by installing their code directly on the public internet. In other words, ICP's main objective is to be a computer that can run services to decentralize the internet as a whole. For example, Instagram controls what is said and done on their platform, and if you want to post content onto their platform, you need to follow their rules and regulations. They are centralized and control what is said and done on their platform. ICP and DFINITY wants to be the place where developers can host and build decentralized internet services such as Instagram for the future. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Everything said in this video is from my own research and my understanding. This video is for anybody that wants to know what I know about this cryptocurrency. ICP is also seen to be the missing link inside of the blockchain. Here's how ICP will fit into the crypto ecosystem. So as of right now, the first cryptocurrency ever made introduced into the world was Bitcoin, the first invention. Without Bitcoin, there's no such thing as Ethereum, there's no such thing as ICP, there are no altcoins inside the market, playing the role of digital gold, meaning that Bitcoin is mainly an asset to be seen and grown in value. Second invention, we have smart contracts introduced by Ethereum. Ethereum is powering the DeFi revolution. And then third, last but not least, we have DFINITY with ICP, which is the infinite blockchain. With DFINITY, they're reimagining how you build basically everything. Again, Bitcoin being a digital asset, Ethereum allows you to program your money through smart contracts, and ICP runs on code. Simplest way to explain this is letting DFINITY explain it themselves. Next up is a clip explaining how the tokenomics work with ICP, and how they plan on decentralizing the internet and how this plays a big role in the future.
469 million of these tokens in existence. They're distributed among four main cohorts. The first cohort is 500 plus financial contributors, which are made up of those participating in the February 2017 seed round and the later 2018 strategic and pre-sale fundraisers. The pre-sale price, summer 2018, was 4 Swiss francs and 17 cents, or about $4.50. Of course, many things have moved forward since 2018. The second cohort is the 150 plus team contributors, made up of the 120 current full-time team members and others who have contributed over time. The third is 50,000 plus airdrop participants who participated in the airdrop we ran in 2018 and successfully passed KYC. And finally, there's the DFINITY Foundation itself, which holds tokens in an endowment that it uses to fund operations. But what role do ICP tokens play within the broader token ecosystem on the internet computer, and how might they be used? The internet computer actually has two native tokens, ICP and also Cycles, which are used as fuel for computation. Additionally, every canister can create its own token if it wishes, which shares its identity. A canister can hold balances of any token and can send tokens to other canisters as part of function calls. On the internet computer, tokens can be used for anything, from loyalty rewards through payments, the securitization of assets, and the governance of open internet services. Let's look at how ICP tokens, in particular, can be used in more detail. You can do two things with ICP tokens. Firstly, by locking them inside the network nervous system, the algorithmic in-protocol governance system that manages the network, you can create neurons, which can vote on proposals and earn voting rewards, also paid in ICP. Secondly, you can transform ICP tokens into Cycles, a kind of stablecoin used as fuel for computation by canisters. When you create a neuron, its voting power, and the rewards you receive from the network nervous system when your neuron votes, start off by being proportional to the number of ICP tokens you locked inside. So for example, all things being equal, a neuron that locks up 200 tokens will have twice the voting power and receive twice the rewards for voting as a neuron that locks up 100 tokens. Depending on your neuron's configuration, a maximum voting reward is available each month. The network nervous system tracks the proportion of votes your neuron participates in and pays you a pro rata share of that maximum reward. Luckily, you can configure your neuron to mostly vote automatically by following other neurons you trust, so it's possible to receive the maximum available reward without doing too much work. Some other factors affect your neuron's voting power too, and the rewards you receive. A neuron behaves a bit like a time deposit bank account, where you can ask to withdraw your money at any time, but it is always given to you after a delay. Essentially, to withdraw ICP tokens locked inside one of your neurons, you must dissolve it. Dissolving takes time, but you can start and stop the process of dissolving a neuron whenever you like. The minimum time remaining before a neuron can completely dissolve and release its locked tokens is known as the dissolve delay, and this falls while a neuron is being dissolved. The dissolve delay is configurable by a dial in your neuron's online management interface. The longer the dissolve delay you set, the greater your neuron's voting power and the greater the voting rewards you will receive, because this encourages you to vote with a longer-term view on driving the success of the network. You can increase the dissolve delay anytime you like. However, the dissolve delay can only be reduced by putting the neuron into dissolve mode. You can think of this being similar to a kitchen timer, where the dial can be twisted clockwise to increase the countdown, but the countdown can only occur through the passage of time. In order for your neuron to participate in voting, the current dissolve delay must be set at between 6 months and 8 years. Personally, I plan to twist all my dissolve dials right the way around to 8 years to maximize my voting power and rewards, as this is a long-term project. The final way neurons increase their voting power and voting rewards is by growing older. The age of a neuron is the time that has elapsed since it was last placed in dissolve mode. Financial contributors to the Internet Computer Project will receive their ICP tokens locked in neurons that have a generous pre-existing age, and will be able to choose between quickly dissolving their neurons to obtain their ICP tokens or configuring longer dissolve periods so they can participate in voting and earn rewards. The network nervous system's payment of voting rewards to neuron holders is inflationary, but let's look at the other way ICP tokens can be used. The other use for ICP tokens is that you can convert them into cycles. The conversion of ICP tokens to cycles occurs at a variable rate, which is constantly configured by the network nervous system in response to external markets, such that burning approximately 1 Swiss francs worth of ICP, which is about the same as $1, will always create a trillion cycles, which we refer to as a T. Software canisters that live on the Internet Computer blockchain must be charged with cycles, which are used to power computations and memory management, and are burned in the process. Over time, more and more cycles will be burned by computation. Since cycles can only be created from ICP tokens, effectively over time, more and more ICP tokens will be burned by computation and disappear. This guarantees that so long as computations are running on the Internet Computer, someone somewhere must be buying ICP tokens as a means to create the cycles that power them. When ICP tokens are converted into cycles and burned by computation, that's deflationary, as it reduces the supply. The value of cycles will stay approximately constant, which ensures that the cost of computation remains stable and predictable and allows them to be used as a store of value, for example, within DeFi applications. The value of cycles stays stable for 2 reasons. Firstly, the network nervous system creates a firm ceiling on their price because it will always create 1 trillion in exchange for approximately 1 Swiss francs worth of ICP. Secondly, if there is ever a surplus of cycles on financial exchanges, say, and the price there falls, users will then purchase those cheaper surplus cycles for use as fuel, leading to them all eventually being burned by computation, such that future cycles will have to be created by converting ICP, which returns the price to its usual ceiling. The Internet Computer's use of computation to produce a stable value for cycles is potentially revolutionary. Holders of cycle tokens receive a guarantee that, so long as the Internet Computer is running, eventually all surplus cycles will be burned and the value of their cycles will return to its usual peg. This works in stark contrast to the stablecoins of today, where such tokens are either collateralized by assets held in trust by custodians acting as issuers and redeemers, or their values are stabilized using elaborate schemes that depend on assumptions about the volatility of crypto assets held as collateral, which in both cases makes them difficult to trust. The power of cycles underscores that the Internet Computer stands ready to facilitate DeFi just as much as it will help developers create the hyperscale internet services of tomorrow. The last thing I want to mention is open internet services and their governance tokens. We hope open internet services will eventually provide alternatives right the way across today's closed, monopolistic, big tech ecosystem, and we will see open versions of services such as YouTube, LinkedIn, Salesforce, and Facebook. That is why we're developing LinkedUp and CanCan, LinkedIn and TikTok clones respectively, as sample apps. Open internet services will be built from autonomous code that is controlled and managed by open, tokenized governance systems, which function similarly to the network nervous system. Tokenized governance systems for open internet services are coming soon, and will generate their own token, which is to be used in voting, and could potentially receive a distribution of value created by the autonomous system. What's exciting is that each governance system shall contain its own decentralized financial exchange, where their governance token can be traded for cycles.
All right, you guys. So hopefully after that video, you guys are fairly familiar with how this operates, how this works. Right now, what we're going to be going over is the ICP protocol. So the Internet Computer is created by the ICP protocol. Internet Computer Protocol has formed the world's first web-speed, web-serving public blockchain network, which can grow its capacity with demand and is self-governing. It combines special node machines run by independent parties from independent data centers around the world. Like all blockchains, it is unstoppable, and the code it hosts is tamper-proof. The Internet Computer is basically where all these services are going to be coming from, which is a public cyberspace. Then the layer you have next is the ICP protocol. Under that is the internet, and then under that would be the data center. So how exactly does the ICP protocol get powered? It gets powered through something called canisters. The Internet Computer hosts special smart contracts called canisters. A smart contract is called a canister, which holds memory pages and WebAssembly that is formed by code. So what exactly are canisters? Canisters are computational units that include both program and state. A software canister is similar to a container, and that both are deployed as a software unit that contains compiled code and dependencies for an application or service. But to break it down a little further and a little easier to understand, canisters in short are the batteries that power the ICP protocol and allow end users to interact with the service on their blockchain network. And then next we have cycles. So what exactly are cycles? Cycles reflect the real cost of operations, including resources such as physical hardware, rack space, energy, storage devices, and as well as bandwidth. In simple terms, a cycle unit represents the cost of executing a single WebAssembly instruction. Programs must be able to pay for complete execution, all or nothing, but the cost associated with cycles will make efficient programs cost effective. In short, basically what cycles are is the real cost and value that is used to charge these canisters. You will use your ICP tokens, convert them into cycles, and those cycles will then power the canisters, and the canisters will power the service that you're trying to receive, the web service that you're looking for. Next, canisters can serve web content directly to end users. Users can interact with the blockchain services without holding any tokens. So as you guys can see, just like I said earlier, just like what I said earlier, canisters are used to power the web HTTP, which is then directly fed to the end user's device. It's very user friendly and there's no end-to-end blockchain security for the first time. Some other things that the Internet Computer can be used for is tokenized internet services, pan-industry platforms, DeFi and smart contracts, enterprise system, and as well as websites. So again, as you guys can see, all these canisters on the top are powering the Internet Computer, which then goes through the ICP protocol, which then gives you access to the internet, and then it goes through the data centers. Developers build simply by uploading canisters into the cyberspace. So if you guys paid attention to the video, you guys know that developers get rewarded through ICP tokens, which is why they're willing to put their canisters up for the end users to then use. They're basically staking their ICP tokens in order to receive the reward later on. Canisters are pre-charged with cycles that fuel their computation. Users don't pay as on Ethereum. Cycles are used again to power the actual canisters themselves. So as you guys can see, a bunch of little cycles inside of the canister. And then once these canisters start getting used, these cycles then get burned, and then it goes through the entire ICP protocol. ICP tokens can be converted into cycles. This is the computation burns cycle. All right, so starting at step 1, protocol pays ICP to data centers, and then the data centers sell those ICPs to financial exchanges, and then the operators buy that ICP. Operators then convert the ICP into cycles. Why do they convert their ICP into cycles? Because then they later get rewarded more ICP tokens, which is essentially creating passive income for them. Those cycles get used for the canisters, and then it repeats the entire process. Entrepreneurs or developers can raise funds by selling governance tokens. 99% of the world's technical talent resides outside of Silicon Valley, where there's very little venture capital. Open internet services will finally unlock the potential of worldwide talent through token-based fundraising. So this is basically how you will go about staking your ICP tokens to then create passive income. I'm not going to go too in detail on that because that is a whole nother explanation in itself. If you paid attention to the video at the start, you have a fair understanding of how this works. So this is the main objective for the Internet Computer. Build open internet services to provide the world with alternatives to big tech that we're using in our day-to-day lives right now. So as you guys can see, Instacart, Gmail, Twitter, Airbnb, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, eBay, all these big competitors that ICP is technically going up against. For example, Google Photos. Let's just say you went on a family trip. You took hundreds and thousands of photos on that family trip. You then want to send those photos to your family, your friends, whoever was on that trip. Google is now charging you $5 a month in order to get access to 50 gigabytes of storage on their platform. Because you're using Google's platform, because you're using their service, they have every right to charge you whatever fee they want to charge you at the end of the day. Why is that? Because Google is a centralized platform. It is not decentralized, and this is what ICP is looking to solve. Another example, open rides like with Uber. Early drivers and riders incentives by becoming owners, tokenization, available everywhere as local taxi monopolies can't legally block. Drivers maintain a much higher percentage of earnings. Because Uber is a centralized platform, Uber can now take a fee for you using their platform, for the marketing that they've done to bring you to that platform. And as someone who works for Uber, obviously I want to make as much money as I can in order to live. This is where decentralization can thrive, because now it's a decentralized platform. There's no middleman like Uber that is there to take your money. Drivers can now maintain a much higher percentage of earnings because, again, there's no middleman, which is a problem that ICP, again, wants to solve. So as you guys can see, ICP is basically looking to give the power to the people and not to the third parties, decentralized networks. All right, you guys, next up, we're going to do some technical analysis on ICP Crypto. As you guys can see, on the day of the launch, we peaked at the price point of $2,800 USD per coin. And ever since then, we've been on a very aggressive bearish run. But the reason I want to come on here and do some technical analysis for you guys is because we finally found some footing with ICP Crypto. So as you guys can see, after this crazy bearish run from the launch, it launched on the 11th of May. And then we finally saw some signs of a reversal starting at the 19th of May right over here. So what we can do is identify some support levels within the market, because investors see that ICP is such a valuable coin long term. Once it finally hit that lowest point that people are willing to give it, they finally decided to get involved with this coin, entering at the solid lowest price we've seen. Another sign that this is the lowest point of the ICO is the double bottom. As you guys can see, we had no clear signs of a double bottom ever since this coin ICO'd. So we get this double bottom finally seen at 108 USD. The lowest that this coin has hit overall, let's just check it out right here, is right around $92 USD per coin. All right, so as you guys can see, investors saw it hit under that $100 price point, heavily bought into ICP, double bottom, investors came back in, doubled down, invested again, went on a very aggressive bullish run for a short period of time, going from 109 USD all the way to 220. All right, so again, very strong sign that this is going to be potentially the reversal point of ICP Crypto. And as of right now, you can see we're playing a very, very strong consolidation zone on the 1 hour time frame. This is probably the point where people that got in at that $400 price range are finally like, okay, you know what? I don't think this coin is going to hold out. But this is where investors are sitting back looking at, okay, this is where a lot of people are looking to exit their position. I'm going to finally get in. If you watch the entirety of this video, a lot of long-term value with ICP. We're currently sitting at the price point 143. I don't think we're going to see a crazy turnaround anytime soon, not for the next month or so, not until Bitcoin finally decides to break that $40,000 price range and again continue that bearish run that we've seen all year. I think right now would be a perfect time to get inside of ICP, but if you're looking for better price entries, there is another clear sign of a support level sitting at 124 USD. I would set an alert at this price, which is actually what I'm going to do right now. So long ICP 124 USD. This is where I plan on getting inside. I will be entering right after this video at 143, but I'm looking to heavily get invested if it does retest that 108 or that 124 USD price point. And I'm going to be hodling this coin for the next year to 5 years. It's going to be a very, very long position for me. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you guys think this coin is going to hit lower than 100? Do you think it's going to shoot back to 400, 500, etc.? Let me know. But that's basically going to wrap up ICP Crypto in a nutshell. I don't want to make this video too complex, too hard to understand. Hopefully you learned something from watching this video. If you did, please drop a like, drop a comment. If you're invested into ICP, if you're looking to get into ICP, this is the problems that ICP is looking to solve for the future. And I personally believe that ICP will be a huge role within the next 5 to 10 years. Also, if you're new, subscribe to the channel. I make crypto content every other day, whether it's from pump and dump coins, meme coins, or real valuable tokens like ICP. But that's going to wrap up this video. My name's Carlos. Take it easy, you guys.